I just got back from my very first archery tournament. That was the 2013 Holdsworth Cup at the Moorabbin Archery Club. And firstly, just want a big thank you to the Moorabbin Archery Club for organising this competition. It was superbly run. I might throw up a quick photo some of the day. It started off kind of wet and rainy, but when the shoot started, it was perfect sunshine. So somehow, Moorabbin, you've controlled the weather to make perfectly blue skies and no wind, and it was the absolute perfect conditions for the archery competition. So, again, superb organisation. The 103 people on the line run very smoothly. No real hitches. The food and catering were fantastic, and again, I think Moorabbin one of the best clubs in Melbourne, if not the best club in terms of equipment and facilities and club culture and organisation. I mean, it's not my club, but I go there and I go, wow, it's just a very very good club. So if you're in Melbourne and you're thinking about checking out a club or doing come and try down the east side, then Moorabbin is a very very nice place, and they organise a lot of competitions, including the state championships, and that's something to look forward to hopefully down the line. But in terms of this competition, I've been doing archery for about 2.5 years now, and that's actually quite a long time before you do a competition. Quite a few people will take up archery, and within a few months, or even a few weeks, they'll start getting equipment, training, doing competitions. If not short range, then ready competitions. And look, I've always seen myself firstly as a casual and recreational archer. It's only been very recently that I've decided to have a go at doing competitions and perhaps going to a higher level. And this first time experience has been obviously a very good experience. Lots of learning happening. But more importantly, I guess it just made me realize that it takes quite a bit of preparation to not just to do well for a competition, but to just be in the right mindset for a tournament. So I had quite a few gaffes on the day, and
rounds.
I'd say I wasn't that well prepared. But I
slash
guess for
quarter,
those
two
of you who
rounds,
are
I mean,
thinking of
different
beginning to
countries have
compete,
different
then,
names for
I
their
guess
rounds,
these are
but
a few most rounds require a minimum of 6 arrows, but you don't just bring 6 arrows. I've got I had about 7 or 8 functioning arrows, and that is nowhere near enough. Almost immediately at 70 meters, I haven't done much practice. I was feeling extremely nervous. I can't emphasize how tense I was. I was already hitting wood and missing the target, and a lot of people do that. I mean, it's not like you're born and you have to be a perfect archer to compete. I'll talk more about it a bit later, but I was hitting wood, and that got help removing the arrows from the wood, but the inserts got lost, so I had to take the insert out. So I couldn't do a field repair. I didn't have the equipment ready, and it's right into the round, so you can't just go, hang on a minute, I've got a blowtorch and glue my inserts in. So I actually lost points and inserts for a couple of my arrows, and before I knew it, I was down to 5 arrows, and you need 6. So basically, I had to shoot 5 instead of 6, and therefore every 6th arrow was a considered a miss. So basically, I lost 2 points, but that cost me, like 100 points overall. Now, thankfully, half the round was a 3 arrow end, at close distance, so I had enough to drag me through. But the first half, I lost so many points just because I didn't bring enough arrows. So one thing I'm going to do right away is buy more arrows. And look, people walking up and down the line have done this before. They're carrying the quivers for 24 arrows. And that, if you're buying the expensive, like the X10s or the ACEs, that's like 400, $500 an arrow. Not an arrow, but $500 for your quiver. But you need spares. You can't just rely on the fact that you have, 2 spare arrows. You just need 10 spare arrows, just because you will probably break or lose an arrow at some point. So that's number one. Number 2 is space. You have to get used to being on a very crowded line. And I said before that this shoot had 100 and something people on the line, and we had 3 people per target, 2 for some, but 3 for most. And This is mostly for those of you who spend time practicing at home in the comfort of your shed or your backyard, or your archery club has a very spacious line, or not many people are shooting. In competition conditions, not the Olympic style, I should note, because that's a one-on-one contest. We have all space you want. But on a normal archery tournament, everyone shoots at the same time, and with three or two people next to you, it can be extremely cramped. You are allocated about 80 centimeters in front of you, and that includes space to put your scope. I didn't have one that concerned me, but you have to fit in your bow, and your scope within like this much of the person next to you. And if the person next to you, like I'm right-handed, if the person next to you is left-handed, he's literally back to back with you. And that's a huge problem if you're not used to controlling your space. And that includes storing your equipment, the way you position your quiver, the way you move your bow back and forward, and especially if you tend to swing. So when you release, some people swing outwards, some people swing inwards, and because you only have this much space, basically, any movement will disturb and distract other archers. And I accidentally bumped into a couple of my fellow archers on the line. That was very embarrassing, and it's very serious. Like on the line is dead quiet. I mean, when you go off the line, people joke around and make fun of each other and stuff like that. Just do things to relax. But when you're on the line, it is the silent moment. Like there is no joking. All you hear is the sound of arrows being loosed and the pop 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 of arrows hitting the target. You don't disturb that discipline of the line. And bumping someone can cause them to get very frustrated and become very distracted, and it's very it's one of the worst things you can do is to knock another archer, and I did that a couple of times, and I was pretty sorry about it. It's very embarrassing, but that's something to keep in mind. Secondly, too, like you have to really focus on that tunnel vision. So because you're so close to each other, you do see like stabilizers and arrows flying out, and people's shoulders and your peripheral vision. And you just have to block it out like this. It's just so close, and it's almost intimate. Like the way you hear people breathe, you have to zone out and you have to just focus on your target. And that, for me, the first time was very very hard. I was just so aware of everything around me that I was just really stressed out, and I just couldn't focus on my own shooting. So that's number two. Number three, remember to shoot your own target. This has to be the worst gaff I did. I think newbies at some point will do this, and I wasn't the only one. Other people did it too, but again, it comes down to what kind of conditions you're used to shooting based on your training ground or your club. Some clubs have spaced out targets, others have very close targets, and in competition level, the targets are very, very close. Now, each target has a number, so you allocate a particular target, and you have to shoot that target. Unfortunately, my very first time shooting, like the targets are literally this far apart. Like you have the edge of one target, the next target's here, and when you're loading your bow, you come up, you load your bow, you look up, you see the target, you come back to your draw and you shoot, and then you realize you shot the wrong target. And I did that several times, and these were at 70 meters extremely good shots, like 8s and 9s, but wrong targets. Like I had my target here, I had the target over here, the target over here, and I hit them at least once. It was just really weird. Like I thought I hit the right target here, and then bang, it was the wrong target. So that was something I was kind of paranoid about. I kept checking to take out the right number target to corner my eye before I shot, and that broke my process. So again, that's just my inexperience coming out. I kept forgetting which target I was aligned with, because with so many targets in the line, it's easy to forget which one you're shooting at. And look, I've seen it happen before. I think Casey Glee mentioned in his book that even like the most professional archers who are super tense and nervous will make these mistakes, and that's what I did too. Not to say I'm a good archer, but that was a complete newbie mistake. No penalty, simply counts as a miss, despite how good your shots will be. And I dropped a lot of points just because I just shot the wrong target. So that's something you learn very quickly, hopefully only once. The last thing, I suppose, is you should compete. like I've held it off for a long time. Like again, I was a casual recreational archer. I didn't really think about trying to win trophies and stuff. And the idea of competing, even though I wasn't well prepared for it, like I pushed myself over that personal barrier, that edge where like I was comfortable just doing what I was doing, but I just wanted to see how I stood against other people, and um, it was just a very good experience, and it was surprising in many ways, so like what you can do under pressure, what you can't do. Um, but the whole mentality of spending time to train as much as you can. I couldn't train much. I mean, I work as a teacher, as best you probably know by now, and that's a lot of a time gone down the drain. But I tried to squeeze in training time, long distance shooting, and it wasn't enough to get me like fully comfortable and confident and prepared for the competition. But just the push, that motivation, that drive to train, and it was raining, it was storming, but we still tried to push through it. And look, I'm physically wrecked. I want my shoulders, like, I feel like I've torn something in my shoulders. It's just really stiff, and I've been lying down for the last hour and a half. I've got like my fingers are still stinging. I've got calluses, nice ones right there. So the whole intensity of having to shoot, firstly train beforehand, and being prepared, as well as lasting a whole day. I mean, this is 120 arrows. It's shot over. It starts at 9:30, finishes around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, including breaks. But that is a lot of shooting. So things like stamina, endurance count for a lot. Discipline, pressure, and shooting at a competition should be exactly the same way you shoot when you practice. But it takes a lot of fortitude and discipline to bring that consistency into your form at a competition level. But overall, I would say it was a very, very worthwhile experience. Very social experience. You meet a lot of people. You can talk archery. You can talk other things. Opportunities open up. I mean, some of you might be interested in shooting state or national level or even beyond that. And getting competition is not that hard. I mean, apart from like the nationals and stuff, there are no qualifications involved for competitions at regional or state level, and you should consider doing it. Like you don't have to be a good archer. I mean, doing these competitions will make you a better archer because you learn from other people you shoot with. I was lucky enough to be paired with the top ranked female archer in the state, and she was a veteran. She was just very good, and I felt kind of cheesy asking about things. I just didn't know how things worked, but watching people shoot and their concentration and how they handle the pressure, it makes you a better archer, makes you a better person, and you are matched against people in your own class. If you're not like a grandmaster level archer, then you're not going to be facing against a grandmaster. I mean, if you can outscore them and win overall, fantastic. That's people can do that. But the pressure isn't on you to beat the highest level archers. The pressure is on you to beat yourself, and that's really what the competition is about. I mean, you do get ranked for people your classification and your particular discipline, but it's all about achieving your personal best. Because it's not like a one-on-one. It's like a team sport where you have to compete against other people. It's you compete against yourself. You beating your own personal score. You shooting good shots every single time, and that's really what it is with archery competition. And like depending how well it's organized, you still get recognition, and you still get your placement. So despite my gaffes up shooting the wrong targets and only having 5 arrows and just generally being completely stressed out, it's still a nice consolation prize. So look, I didn't win, but it was such a good experience, and this is just cherry on top. So guys, if you're thinking about competing, it's worth it. It's worth giving it a shot. Pun intended. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.